Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here doing my live reaction for Supernatural Season 15, Episode 13, Destiny's Child. Sadly, this is the last episode we're going to be getting for a little while. I saw the article on it. I think I mentioned in my last one, I was like, oh, I don't know how many episodes we're going to get. And unfortunately, I think it was over the week, I think it was Sunday. It was either Sunday or Monday I actually read the article. And it was like, yeah, this is actually the last one. And I was like, dang, that was faster than I thought. I thought we'd at least get like 3 or 4 episodes. So in the article, they did mention that they have filmed up to, I want to say episode 18. So they only have to film 19 and 20. But unfortunately, because this isn't like a movie where, the creator is the director and all these other things, it's just done, the editing is all done in a production house, which sadly is closed. So we have like 5 episodes that they filmed and everything like that. They just can't go into the editing process, which is very unfortunate. So of course we are going to have to wait until everything just kind of works out and just calms down and people can go outside without freaking out whether or not they have the virus or they're going to, pass the virus along to someone else. And, things just get back to normal. For me personally, I'm in Michigan right now. So last week it was just like, oh, back to Supernatural. It'll be interesting to see how things play out. Monday, it's currently Wednesday for me as of filming this. Monday at like 11 a.m., our governor came on and was like, all right, we're shutting it down. Stay-at-home order is in effect. Everything it's strictly essential. So it is food. You can get gas. You can get your medicine and stuff like that. I have to look at some of the other things. I've heard that automotive stuff is still open in case you need a car to actually get around. But yeah, it's stay indoors. So it is Wednesday, and I've officially been indoors for just about 2 full days. Counting, once this day ends, it'll be 2 full days. Technically, I guess it already has been from, I didn't leave when I got home on Monday, so it's basically been 48 hours just in here. Haven't gone crazy just yet. I know there are other people who've already been indoors, because I was actually working the whole time, so for me, it kind of like, it just happened. I don't know if you guys care about any of this, but, it's the crazy stuff that's going on. It's the weird movie times we're living in, so I thought that was just a little bit of, a bit of a story I could tell you guys. Like, I'm currently in full lockdown mode. I have no plans on going out. Fortunately, I have food here. So yeah, and sadly, this is the last episode that I can watch of Supernatural. So, simply put, I'm going to be doing every single season finale of Supernatural, because I got the time. So, look forward to those. I don't know when that'll be starting, because I have some gaming stuff that I need to take care of, as far as my YouTube channel and my new channel that I'm making. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that just to kind of fill in the void of, we already had such a long break, and it's unfortunate. And I just decided, I was like, you know what? We're on 3 weeks as well, and it just started this week. So we have 3 straight weeks of this stay-home order, and I have the time. I can watch, 14 seasons. I've got the time. So look forward to that. That probably won't start until maybe Monday or so, because I want to do some of the other videos that I already have in my head. So that won't be for a little bit, but those will be coming out at least next week, about this time next week, for sure. That'll be coming out, and I'll try to get through a bunch, because Resident Evil is also coming out soon. I don't know how I'm gonna get that game. I'm probably gonna get it digitally now, because Best Buy is not essential. But yeah, there's that. So Supernatural's coming along. I know that this has nothing to do with the show, but yeah, things are just weird, and I thought that was an entertaining story. So we're gonna get into this episode. Sucks that it's the final one, but we're gonna get into it and just enjoy it as it is.
Pizza man truly loves this babysitter.
Well, that's a classic.
Why does he keep slapping her rear?
What I always find interesting on television is when things are like shaky. And I think it took me a long time to realize, but eventually it got to the point where I was like, oh, nothing's shaking. They're just shaking the camera. And I think of how weird it looks when it's still. And it's just like, everyone has to be like, whoa, it's shaking. Like, how stupid everybody has to look. And I just think of that all the time now when I see the camera shaking. Much fancier. I love that they went up and they like focused on the tiny man bun. I don't know what else.
Was meant to strengthen Jack's body.
Just him eating the sandwich is like.
Is more spiritual in nature.
Kind of a family plan. Then there's no God, there's no darkness. Nothing out of balance.
I just realized that balance is why they had the future thing, where it was like, if God gets taken down, all the monsters go crazy. It didn't dawn on me at the time. Oh, that's cool. It didn't dawn on me at the time, like, why does that happen? It's the light and dark balance.
So where is it now?
Stash.
So far, I'm liking this. I didn't know both of them were in it. So, but the ladies, of course, the wives of the Winchesters, or the real life actors, of course. I knew that Ruby was coming back. It was in that article I read, and I was like, I wish I didn't know that because that would have been a great surprise. So it is super cool that that both their wives are in it. I think that's pretty awesome. I would have to assume because initially I just thought, oh crap, Ruby's back. I was like, considering some of the things that have happened in this season, I was like, that makes sense. So far, it's just a flashback, but also if they go back to hell, which they totally haven't in because they've been friends with the last two rulers of hell technically. So they totally have an in with Rowena, which it would be cool if she was in the episode as well. And so they could totally go in. It's no big deal. And then we get to see Ruby. That I think would be awesome. I find it very interesting that they knew each other for so long. That their little deal is like, oh, she knew her when she was in a different body. Fun fact for anyone who may not, you may not remember way back when, the actress who played Ruby in her like blonde original body is actually the woman who went on to be Laurel Lance in Arrow. Like the CW, they don't let people go. Like anyone who dies or anything, they just go to another show. Like I can't remember her name in this show anymore, but like Jack's mom is in Legends of Tomorrow. I think I mentioned that before, but it's just funny. Like so many people, it's just like, oh yeah, just go to that show for a minute or something. Like it's funny being on CW. It's like you're in it. Once you're in it, you're in like a million other shows. But I find that very funny. But I like this episode. I'm very curious how things are going to play. Like the last couple of episodes have been the same thing a million times over, and it's been what the heck is happening with this whole Destin'y thing. Like they're bringing it up like, well, what's the deal with the Amara stuff? Jack clearly doesn't know. I don't think he wants to tell them. I have no idea what her plan is, but it's just like, yeah, it's something like that. He might know the plan, he might not, and he's just like, he just knows that he has to believe in it, and that's just how it is because he doesn't want the rest of his family to freak out. But it's just interesting because I'm like, I don't think he knows anything. I think it's just like, oh yeah, something like that, I guess. I don't think he knows anything. I could be wrong, but we just have to wait and see because it's just like they're kind of flying blind. It's like, here's the thing, like she just drops like the next objective when they're kind of close to it. It's like, all right, well this thing is happening. Man, I just realized I'm paused on this pizza. I want pizza so bad, but I also don't want to die. But she drops like little things. It's like, well, we need this thing now. It's like, well, what is it? It's spiritual. What the F does that even remotely mean? So it's really interesting watching Billy kind of just drop these little hints, and they're moving towards this plan. But I think maybe it's because one of them is going to die is why she doesn't want to get too far into the plan, because she knows like eventually it'll get to the point where it's like, if I give out so many answers, it's going to be like, oh, it's going to come down to like, a picking moment. I was about to slightly spoil something that already exists, but there's a very particular franchise where that comes to mind, a very specific moment from a very specific franchise, I'll just say it like that comes to mind when I think of this. Like, you can't know too much of the plan because then it'll change the plan. But I like the episode so far. We'll see what happens. I also kind of don't want to finish this episode now. I'm in my head and I'm like, I kind of just want to save it forever because I don't know how long things are going to be like this and not have new Supernatural. But I have to see it, so we'll find out what happens. We'll see if we get some freaking answers here. God, I want pizza so bad right now.
You need to feed this palbone to keep the rift open for Sam and Dean, or they'll be lost forever. Let's do it.
I feel like they wouldn't be lost forever if they went to hell. Like, Rowena could just be like, alright, boys, here you go. They've been out of hell a lot. It's almost like they might as well have their own keys at this point. I mean, it looks way cooler than it used to. Admittedly, I like the Gothic architecture. I think it fits hell compared to what we've seen in the past. Granted, Crowley specifically did that because it was hell, and he made it a waiting room, which was really funny. It was like, yeah, nobody does like to wait in line. You're just waiting. You're just there. And just, ugh. It's actually a really good idea. But this looks cooler. I don't think Rowena's going to show up in this episode either.
Bitch set us up.
Okay. So that's not the craziest thing to have happen. It's like, alright, they were set up. Happens. it's like the point of the series almost. They get set up and they either fall into traps or they willingly go into traps as heroes do from time to time. But now it's just like, what was the point of that? Well, what? Maybe she does have the occultum. Maybe that's what it is. She has the occultum and she does want to use it now that she knows what it can actually be utilized for. But why make an enemy out of, the Winchester? I mean, it's like the classic thing, like the Winchesters. It's always they survive, or if they don't, somebody pulls them back anyway. So it's like, why make enemies out of two people that just seem that, oddly enough, even with God as their enemy, they tend to have like godly luck from time to time, most of the time, really. And it's like, why make them your enemy if they're just like, we have it, just be like, I got rid of it, or just lie or something else. But I don't know, I guess that's the classic thing too. Everybody always has a little bit too little faith in Sam and Dean. It's like, all right, I'm gonna send them into this trap, no big deal. And then of course they come out on top, or if they don't, they just get resurrected by either Cass or maybe God, or maybe even a demon from time to time. Who knows who's gonna bring who back? That's the mystery of Supernatural. Somebody's coming back. Let's just find out how. But we'll see.
Really empty.
We always work.
They're bringing everybody back. That's cool.
Apparently you want to see.
Ruby.
I always liked that shade of blue.
Where am I?
I know that was insanely random, but I was like,
remember.
that just looks cool.
You dead?
Almost.
There's gonna be a showdown. And I know
That jacket is so shiny. I know this is just way out, but I noticed it the first time. I was like, it just looks like plastic. It's because of the color correction, because I've seen jackets like that. But with this color correction, it literally just looks like plastic. And then they gave her the shiny shirt too, and I was just like, it's so shiny and plasticky looking. It's
You
weird.
and I work well together when we have to. You are
It's also a very big contrast compared to like what she was wearing and like the present time stuff. And then the flashback is her in like this really reflective jacket.
We don't have the occult. It's
Castle into the empty, hopefully to find Ruby, hopefully to find out where this occulting thing is located. Hopefully.
That just really got me because
That's way too many hopes.
whatever he just found out is going to be some big deal.
Yo, Clarence.
We do it worldwide. We have to keep 2 sets of pilots on standby.
You guys have your own plane?
You don't?
Oh dear. Hey Mitch, how do you afford it?
We get paid
Oh man,
for hunting monsters. You what?
that would be so cool.
Yes, Hunter Corp does very well.
Hunter Corp.
Hunter Corp?
Yeah.
I would assume Jack can just easily take these things out, but yeah, he can't use his power, so. Okay, so I'm. There's a lot of questions, a lot of interesting moments. Let's see, we got. This is 13, so we have a decent chunk of episodes. I don't know if it'll matter, but they mentioned, of course, that John came through with them. They just couldn't find him. It would be very interesting if we got to see this other version of John Winchester, who like made Hunter Corps, which I think is such a cool idea. I would love to see their version of the world and just them. They're basically the English men of letters, but it's the next generation. They made their own thing because, of course, by the time John was doing his thing, he didn't even know about the men of letters and all that extra stuff anyway. So it's kind of cool. I actually think it's very cool. They get paid for it. It does make me wonder if their world knows about monsters, so it's like a legit business. Because I tried to think of that concept, but the men of letters also did it as well. So it's just interesting to be like, how does that sort of start up? How do you start off with that foundation and then build to the point where you're able to pay people and you're making money and stuff like that? Because that's an interesting idea. It's a very interesting concept. I like that idea. It's just a funny version. I doubt we'll get any answers from them or anything like that, but that just seemed interesting. It was like they did escape with their dad. I would love to see, this alternate version. It would be just, John showing up. That would just be cool. It's the final season, so it basically has to happen. We had that great episode last year, but I think it's the final season. You almost have to have every single person. Meg showed up, and it was just like an excuse to throw somebody in there. And it's just like, we went back to see Ruby, and then it's like, Meg. And it's like, not exactly. But obviously they got the actress back. So I was like, well, that's an epic way to do that. That's very cool. It's just like, poof out of nowhere. So I love that. That was a nice surprise. So there you go. I was able to be surprised. But that was awesome. I like this episode just because we get to see so many people in it. But I can't wait to see what happens. Any random church that they go to, like, I instantly get flashbacks now. I can't even remember, what was it, season 11 finale? I'll find out when I go through everything. But the Angel finale, of course. That's what I always go to when they had the big fight. But, man, that was a good one. I can't wait to see what happens here. You know what's funny with this happening? It takes one person to lift up some planks. Like, they could easily just be like, okay, we're just standing here. Why don't we help? Why don't we help Sam out? Oh, they have a Quidditch ball. Yeah, it's a silver snitch.
So what do we do now?
I feel like they're gonna get killed. I feel like Chuck is gonna show up.
That's their lives.
And with this Pinky is hilarious.
Oh my god.
You get used to it. And there's like a ton of these
Man. That counts as a character in itself. Bless the Asian beauties. That is funny. Oh, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. Because I didn't think it would be like a mental. They said it's spiritual or whatever. I figured it would be another location. Which, by the way, it's another location. I mean, we have heaven, hell, earth, purgatory. Not even counting the other worlds. We now have this, too.
This is the garden.
Oh,
That's the beginning.
that's amazing.
Like,
The Garden of Eden. Oh, my goodness.
God loved them so. His prized creations. Until he banished them in all of it.
That's just good. Man, that is good. He could get the apple of knowledge. The apple of Eden. Because technically, they only took a bite. I don't read the Bible. I'll be honest. I don't care.
Jack comes back. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's so good.
Ingesting some magic spear.
Are this any supposed to be Satan again? Which also makes me wonder. There's so many questions, technically speaking, with him talking to the snake, because that's supposed to be Lucifer, but I don't know what that means. Oh man, this might as well be a mid-season finale right here. Maybe he is supposed to be the new god. I mean, he's the son of Satan, but he's good. It's just obviously the level of power he has is beyond everyone else. It was a cool feature that had to be on purpose, but it's cool that Cass didn't have to actually cover his eyes to look away. Okay. So the fact that they didn't... I thought that was going to be like the actual ending. I'm so glad it wasn't. There's a lot... Oh, man. That's a lot to talk about. So the Garden of Eden. That is a concept I never even remotely considered. The whole Adam and Eve thing. Mostly they talked about it. I didn't think it would, be a place. Like, it was a place on Earth. It was kind of what I always thought, even for the context of the show. It was a place that used to exist. And then, of course, over time, it's way out wherever it used to be there. And God was like, all right, well, that sucks. And then, he did what he did, and he got mad, and things are now as they are. The fact that the garden was always this special thing that was permanent, I guess. Still don't know who the little girl was, because, like I said, a million questions. Because I'm like, who's this little girl? What does she represent? The snake is supposed to have been Lucifer, but it was more of a question. And so is that like a part of Lucifer that he split into the thing? So many questions that they aren't going to bother going into details on. But that's what I think about when something happens. I'm like, well, what is the snake? I figured it would be simple if the apple was there, because it would be like, the apple would be knowledge, and I thought it would literally be the exact same thing. He could have eaten the apple, and he would have gained the knowledge of who he's truly meant to be, or something like that. They could have just done some overarching voice, or they could have just had the random mystery little girl say something. So it makes it more confusing that the snake was there, because I'm like, well, the snake is Lucifer, but it couldn't be Lucifer. It was a great voice, by the way, for the snake, but that was good. I just didn't see that one coming. I never would have thought of that as a thing. And I was like, as soon as I just registered a little bit. It took me a second. It was like right before they said it, I was like, oh snap! Like I noticed the water, and I was like, this is a random, very pretty looking location. And I was like, holy crap! It's the Garden of Eden. That is insane. I love it. I love that. I don't know what's about to happen, but this is a good episode. Oh man, this stupid virus sucks. Ah, man, it's ruining amazing storytelling. Hopefully this doesn't last long. I mean, I hope that in general, but let's see what happens.
We drove in it.
I'm sorry, what? And we're leaving.
All right, time to go.
Have fun in Rio.
Why didn't I understand?
It repaired his soul, which I think would make him more powerful in a sense, as souls are like the ultimate thing. Man, that is wild. So I have to see if I can even, if they even showed the promo. I would assume they wouldn't even bother showing the promo. Once again, I'm on my computer because I'm so tired of paying for AT&T. The stupid DVR thing had it plugged in, and it just didn't come on for some reason until it was like 8:30, and I was like, well, there's no point, because once I start watching it, because I have to record my computer anyway, I have to just watch the whole episode. But that's crazy. That is crazy and amazing. And I think I'm going to jump on Twitter really quick just to see everyone's reactions to this latest episode, because that was insane to me and I loved it. And I knew, actually, I get why it was trending so hardcore, because that was insane. Granted, you know, everything is tailored to what you always go to on Twitter, so of course the trending came up as like, you know, Destiny's Child, and I knew that was for Supernatural, although I'm sure there were some actual Destiny's Child's tweets in there every once in a while. That is crazy though. Fantastic episode. Love the ending. Wow. I just don't really know what to think. I mean, we got the funny Sam and Dean. They hate beer. They got it's the tiniest man. That's the funniest thing about it. It's not like it was. He has so much hair. He easily could have had like a legit man bun, but instead it was like all of his hair is down and this itty bitty little like tiny bit of a poof or something. It was like oh, I wish I had it on me. Actually, I do. I can just show you right now. So it reminds me of some of my oh, it's not in here. I actually can't show you right now. But it reminds me of a thing that I have for my cameras. Those little things that you like squeeze to like clean your lenses and stuff, and they have like the tiny bit of feathers on the end. That's what the little bun was for. I'm like, he has so much hair, and they had him do like this itty bitty little thing, which is hilarious to me. But I mean, that was good. May not mean anything, but like I said, the reference to John being with them also, I thought was pretty good. I feel like that could do something. That's an easy way to have him there. They would just have to find him separately. You never really know. We'll just have to wait and see. Meg showing up, that was awesome. You know, we got the wives coming in, so that's pretty cool that they had them all in there. Jack has his soul back. He goes to the Garden of Eden, which is still the craziest thing. That's something that I don't think I've ever thought of. The one thing I don't really tend to go into like the giant predictions for the show. I typically just go, you know, an episode at a time. The only thing I ever knew for the show, I've probably said it for probably 10 years. I've probably said it since season 5. It was always in my head. I was like, obviously God's going to be the final villain. And they just kept making the show go on. And I was just like, well, the next season has to be the end. Because it's like, well, this person kind of died, or this thing happened, or that thing happened. I'm like, obviously God's next. But then it was the angels coming back, and then that was the whole season. So they kept finding good ways to do it. And that one bad way that everyone else hates, I was all right with the Leviathans. I mean, I wasn't like losing my mind over them or anything. It's not my favorite season. But I was fine. I didn't like just jump ship, because I know that's where a lot of people left. But man, they brought it back after that. They really did. They really did. But wow, what an episode. I'm not seeing much. I put in Destiny's Child. I should just put in Supernatural. Some Supernatural tweets are showing up, but I should have just put in straight Supernatural. Because I know Destiny's Child was trending because of the Supernatural episode. But that was good. And it's so crappy that we have to wait so long. But yeah, it was a good episode. It was a really good episode. I cannot wait to see what they do next. I mean, what is this plan? Because Billy could have been like, she knew what it was. She knew it was the Garden of Eden, right? Like, it wasn't just spiritual. Everyone who had come in contact with it knew exactly what it was. It was a thing, but also a place. That's a really interesting concept in itself. Like, what was the reason for making it like this ball being the Garden of Eden? So, a million questions, like I said, they won't get answered. Why was the snake talking when that was supposed to be Lucifer? What the F was up with the random little girl? I don't know. Like, it would have been cool if he just found the apple and it would have all clicked, especially if they put like a bite in the apple. But because it's the Garden of Eden, the apple would technically never, because it's perfection. It's like it's meant to be perfect no matter what. You take a bite of something, I'll get it later. Come back 2 years later, the apple's pristine, or however long later. They totally could have done it that way. So it's interesting that they didn't choose to do that. But wow, the Garden of Eden. That's insane. This is a good episode. This is a really good episode. It was a great one to end it on, actually. And then all the flashing, Jack getting his soul back and them going through the memories and stuff, and then, him hanging out with Dean, which was, I forgot what that was, but that was like the fake perfect reality was like him learning how to drive, or some of that stuff was. I know they did some, I couldn't remember which ones were real and which ones were fake, but I think the fishing thing was fake. And the driving thing. I think that all of that stuff was technically fake, but he had, those are real memories, but that experience was technically fake. But, that was there. The mistakes that he made, the people he killed. Oh, man. This is a heck of an episode. This is really good. It was really good. That was really good. There's not much else I can say about it. I can't wait to see what happens next. He has his soul back, so he'll be kind of back to being Jack officially. So then we will see what happens when we do officially get our return. Once again, I hope it's sooner rather than later, but odds are we are not getting... so I mentioned in the beginning of this, I'm in quarantine or lockdown, whatever. Michigan has it for 3 weeks, so that's not until April 17th or April 13th now, or something like that. So we've got it for a minute. So April 13th. So... we just went into lockdown. I know Canada's shut off its borders. That was a little while back. It was probably a week and a half ago or so, almost 2 weeks now. So it'll be interesting because we probably won't get the end of this series. Excuse me. Probably until. We probably won't get it until June. Honestly, we probably will not have the series finale of Supernatural until June because they still have to finish the episodes, and of course they have to air the episodes. So if we have this being 13 and they still have to film 19 and 20, so we got 5 episodes, that's already over a month. So even if they started exactly when like the Michigan shutdown ends, even then that's April 13th, and it's going to take over a month just to do the 5 episodes, and in total we have 7, so we have basically 2 full months left, and that is an interesting thing. We probably won't see the end of this, and that's being hopeful. And let's face it, that because things are crazy right now, and things are crazy. For those of you who are not living in the States, we got some wild decision making up at the top, so I'm a little bit worried. Based on some of the recent things that I have heard, it is scary. But hopefully everything works out sooner rather than later. Across the board, hope you guys are all doing safe and. You're able to find some good stuff to do in these trying times that we are in. I know people are having like their crazy cabin fever. This is only day 2 for me, so yeah, I think I mentioned that in the beginning. But it's a heck of a time right now. Like, we are in an insanely hard situation globally. Just not like just the nation, but just literally the entire human race. It's weird. It's crazy times. But hopefully things get back to normal sooner rather than later. And even if it does take some time, we'll figure it all out. But ultimately, we don't have Sam and Dean, fighting for us to just instantly make this cure. We just have to survive this for real. But eventually we'll be getting back to it. So hopefully by summer I will be, rocking out to Carry On My Wayward Son. Although I guess with me doing my season finale viewing, I'm going to be singing that a lot. Because you have to sing it every time. I might have to cut it up and do like one line per thing, because obviously I can't put the whole song in there because I'll definitely get copyrighted for that. So I'll figure all that out as I'm editing. But great episode. I can't wait for the show to come back. It is my favorite series. It has been forever. The only show that has ever rivaled Supernatural for me is the show Justified on FX. I highly recommend that show. Coolest thing ever. But yeah, final season. Gonna be a minute before we actually get that final episode. Longer than we thought. So we still got more time to love the show until, before it's gone. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. We got some time. So, build up those predictions, rewatch episodes, try to figure out what the F is Billy doing, what is Destin'y, what is not Destin'y. So we got some time to make some theories. I might make a full video. I won't say that I'm going to, but it might happen. I don't know. But all in all, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Of course, be safe out there. If you have to go out, be careful. If you're stuck indoors, I don't know, rewatch Supernatural. There's a lot of good episodes. There's a lot of great music. So thanks for checking this out. Like I said, if you guys have any comments, please put them down in the comment section below. And be safe out there, because it's pretty crazy.